Hi guys, and welcome back to sqadia.com. Now there is no denying how frustrating it can be to try and solve acid-based questions on an exam, especially when you don't understand at all what's happening. This video helps you understand how the acid-base regulation works, how to approach these problems, and figure out what kind of disorder you're looking at using the arterial blood gas lab reports. So let's get right into it. So first, I'm going to introduce you to the main equation. And in my opinion, this one equation is the key to understanding acid-base problems in the easiest way possible. So this is the acid-base equilibrium equation. Now in the plasma, you have carbon dioxide and water, and these mix to form bicarbonate and hydrogen ions. And this equation also goes back the other way. When we talk about acidic or basic, we're talking about the pH of the blood plasma. Now the body is always trying to regulate the amount of hydrogen ions because this determines the pH of the blood. The pH is important, and the body functions are sensitive to changes in the pH levels since they determine the function of the enzymes in the body, and therefore the body itself tries to regulate the pH as best it can. To start off, more hydrogen ions means acidic, and less hydrogen ion means basic. Another thing that you need to know from this equation is that the bicarbs is maintained by the kidneys and the carbon dioxide is maintained by the lungs. So what are these roles? First, the respiratory system. Changes in the amount of dissolved carbon dioxide in the blood affects the amount of carbonic acid and therefore has an effect on the pH level. Increased carbon dioxide means increase in hydrogen ions, making the pH more acidic. And a decrease in carbon dioxide means there's a decrease in hydrogen ions, making the pH more alkalotic. A term called respiratory compensation that we see in an ABG is what tries to overcome a pH disbalance. So for instance, if there is a pH disturbance for any cause in the body, which causes the pH to be low, meaning acidic, the respiratory system will try and compensate for this by increasing ventilation to blow off and reduce carbon dioxide, to decrease the hydrogen ions and the pH, making it more alkalotic. Sounds like a lot to take in, right? But don't worry, we'll talk more about this later, and I promise to simplify it. Now let's talk about the renal system. It can change the buffer equation by retaining and secreting bicarbonate and hydrogen ions. If renal tubular cells retain bicarbonates and release hydrogen ions, it would become more alkalotic. And the opposite is true. When the renal tubules secrete more bicarbonates and retain more hydrogen ions, then the blood will be more acidic. So just to go over that in a simpler way, low bicarb means there is a higher concentration of hydrogen ions, and therefore a low pH is going to be seen, meaning it will be more acidic. A high bicarb means a lower hydrogen ion level, and this is a higher pH, and therefore alkalotic. Now when talking about carbon dioxide, a high value of carbon dioxide means a high hydrogen ion level, causing a low pH, being acidic. And a low value of carbon dioxide means that there is a low amount of hydrogen ions, so it will be low and have a higher pH, making it more alkalotic. So this might have made clear how the pH can vary. Now there is a Henderson-Hasselbalch equation which is used to calculate the pH, but this is not something that is used by students. But just to show you, the pH varies and is determined by the bicarb and carbon dioxide levels. Hopefully, now you have a better understanding of how the pH changes in the blood plasma. In the next section, we're talking about the simplest approach to acid-base problems. So make sure you stick around.